Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. We have got a lot to discuss in today's Chelsea news video. If you're new around here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss anything. I've been the one that's been missing things in the last week. I've been back in the UK, been on holiday, seeing family. I've got a new niece that I've not spent pretty much any time with since she's been born. So yeah, it's been a nice special time for me. Been watching football with my dad, which I don't get to do because I live on the other side of the world, and I'm feeling a little bit rough today. As you can probably expect after watching England get beaten by Slovakia for 95 minutes, and then all of a sudden, the mercurial talent, the brilliance of Jude Bellingham with a goal for the ages, an overhead kick, creating history, sending it to extra time, and then Harry Kane did the rest. We'll talk about England at the end of this video, but we have got some big Chelsea updates to discuss because Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall to Chelsea, here we go. Player on his way to medical today ahead of contract signing. Deal valid until June 2030 for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall at Chelsea. Reunited with Enzo Maresca, Chelsea to pay fee around 30 million quid to Leicester City after final round of talks today. This was yesterday from Fabrizio Romano. First things first here, I know I've missed a lot of Chelsea news last week. Mark Yu from Barcelona. That could be a masterstroke, by the way. It's a super low fee. Still don't know too much about the player. And I do think when we're looking here at Chelsea signing Dewsbury-Hall, bringing in a midfielder for 30 million quid when we still really do need a left-footed defender. We're going to talk about Calafiori later. We need a goalkeeper. I'm sorry, no one's going to tell me any different here. We need a goalkeeper. And I still think we need an experienced striker. And now we're buying Dewsbury-Hall when we've got Lavia, we've got Caicedo, we've got Enzo, we've got Gallagher. For 30 million, adding Dewsbury-Hall to this list, not only do I think this could be a masterstroke because Enzo Maresca's worked with him before and he was a very good system midfielder at Leicester. He scored goals, he got assists last season. Yes, massive alarm bells that this is in the Championship. This isn't Premier League. His stats in the Premier League are poor. He's been good in the Championship. So is the step up going to be too much? He was a big player at Leicester. He's been there a while. And I think he's a good footballer. I like the way that he carries the ball. I think he can see a pass. I think Chelsea have needed someone since Matic left, really, that has that ability to consistently play. Kante was good at it. He developed with it. And I think we could see something similar from Dewsbury-Hall when it comes to that dribbling, running forward, carrying it forward. That's what he brings to the table. The issue that I have with this signing is that it pretty much screams that the club are going to do everything in their power to sell Conor Gallagher for that pure profit this summer. For me, there's no way Enzo Maresca will want Santos, Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher, Hall. Flipping, have I missed anyone? Lavia? We're talking here about a whole squad of central midfielders at this point. We've already got an abundance of talent in that area. But I do think, with the way that Maresca wants to play, he'll want as many players that fit that profiling that he can get and players that he's worked with before. This, to me, is a good sign that Chelsea will back the manager with the kind of players and the exact players that he wants. Do I think Dewsbury-Hall is a risk? Yes. To get any player that comes and has a good season in the Championship and then expect them to just click, even if it's working with the same manager, it's a different squad. Do I think this could be a risk? Yes. But do I also think this could end up being a really good signing for Chelsea? It could be. I'm just a bit gutted that it pretty much confirms that Conor Gallagher will try and usher him out the door as much as we can this summer. Which, as much as he's not really had a say for England, plays 45 minutes of football, gets hoiked off by Gareth Southgate, not a surprise to me, to be fair. But I do think that Chelsea here will be doing everything we can to sell Gallagher now this summer. We move. Chelsea want to bring in one more talented defender. It could be a left-back or centre-back, but left-footed. Riccardo Calafiori is one of the most talented around. Keep an eye on Chelsea and Arsenal. This is a signing that I absolutely get behind. Calafiori was amazing in the group stages for Italy in the Euros. Had an absolutely fantastic season with Bologna. I think it is as well. And I think this is the kind of calibre of player that Chelsea need. I think there is definitely now with Thiago Silva gone, with Conor Gallagher looking like he's probably going to go, unless he decides he wants to stay and play out that contract, which he could easily do. I think there is going to be a severe lack of leaders at Chelsea. No, don't necessarily think Calafiori fits that bill right now, and I definitely think there are other players that will grow into leadership roles naturally. But when the club captain is always out injured, you sell the obvious on-field captain Silva, you get rid of Conor Gallagher, who is the vice-captain. I'm starting to worry what Chelsea will actually have available when it comes to leaders in the team to guide us into yet another new manager and another new era. Who are going to be the players to step up to the plate? So when we're linked with players like Calafiori, who have got that ability, can play across two different positions in that back line, this is the kind of calibre of player that Chelsea need to be going for. I'm excited about this one. Let's wait and see what happens. Now, of course, with the signing of Dewsbury-Hall, there's a lot of weird business going on right now in the Premier League, and a lot was happening last week when I was on this little break going around the UK. And one thing that we are seeing is clubs that have these potential PSR issues when it comes to needing to sell players before certain deadlines. There's a lot of interbusiness between your Aston Villas, your Newcastles, Leicesters, Chelsea. And going the other way to Leicester is Michael Golding. I'm just finding football has become such a financially orientated sport that it's kind of become a bit soap opera-esque. When teams are just buying from each other to like help each other out, it just seems a bit weird to me. Do you know what I mean? And it makes me worry that we're not actually making football signings here. We're not actually making signings like your Amari Kellermans. Like, I'm sorry, these guys might end up being quality players, but you're not going to see me here on GBFC saying, yeah, do you know what? I think Ian Maatson being sold and signing Amari Kellerman, yeah, I'm confident we're going to get top four. What are you on about? What are you actually talking about? So all of these PSR, we're going to buy from you and then you're going to buy from us kind of things. It makes me worried that because of the way that Chelsea have spent money, we're now going to be in this situation more often where the club aren't actually going through, identifying top targets, buying those top targets to improve the squad year on year. If we're going to be teetering on the brink of financial issue all the time because of how much we spend and we buy so many players, and then whether it's for Blue Coast, Strasbourg or whatever, we buy so many players. And I'm looking around and I'm thinking, Dewsbury-Hall is a good player. It could work at Chelsea, but like, are we talking about massive upgrades here? Are we talking about serious players that will make us contenders to compete with your Cities, your Arsenals, your Liverpools? The answer for me right now is no. And it's unfortunate that I feel that way, but the reality of the situation is, when you're looking at all of the deals that are going through, Aston Villa, Everton doing these little you buy one, I'll buy one deals, it's just flipping weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's football's gone a bit mad. I know what they're trying to do when it comes to these PSR changes and the rulings are to try and make things a bit more level playing for all clubs across the Premier League, but I do think it really only benefits the big boys, to be quite honest. Now, Calafiori, we're going to keep an eye on this one, see how we go. The next news that I'm going to talk about here is regarding Alexander Isak. We have seen last week that Chelsea are interested in Isak. Newcastle also need to make sales because of PSR rulings again. And they've obviously bought Lewis Hall from us for pure profit. Not sure if that was, again, something that Eddie Howe really wanted. We've not seen much of Lewis Hall for Newcastle last season. So many weird deals going on. But Chelsea view Nicholas Jackson as really important. They never considered adding him in a deal for Alexander Isak. Newcastle would also have wanted 120 to 125 million to sell Alexander Isak this summer. That is an unbelievable amount of money. Isak is a brilliant player. I think he's going to be a top Premier League striker for many years. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's actually quite similar to Nicholas Jackson, but a better finisher. And I think Nicholas Jackson has been so... And I can't say that I haven't criticised him, because I have, because there is definitely times where Nicholas Jackson has absolutely deserved strong critique, because I think you could put most of us in front of goal at times and we'd have probably done better finishing some of the chances. But at the same time, on the same token, He also did score a lot of goals, got a lot of assists, is a really hard worker for the team, and an absolute nuisance for Premier League defenders. So, when it comes to Jackson potentially being involved in a deal, I don't see that there's any truth in this for a start. I think it came from Jacob Steinberg from The Telegraph. I don't think this is necessarily true, but I'd also be very disappointed if Chelsea were to include Nicholas Jackson in any kind of deal to sign a top striker this summer. I think whatever striker that we bring in on top of Gu from Barcelona needs to be the calibre of player that can work with a Nicholas Jackson and Nkunku and allow your Mark Hughes to be that wild card where it's 6 million. If it doesn't work, it will just be another one of those players where it's like 12, 20, 30 million in a couple of years' time and we're like, that's good profit for Chelsea Football Club. There's going to be a lot of deals that happen like this one. We're seeing Carney Chukwuemeka is wanted by AC Milan. I don't want this to happen. Another player, though, that we didn't mention earlier with those midfielders, that when you see Dewsbury-Hall coming in, you start to think, well, where does Carnes fit into all of this? I think he's a brilliant player if he can stay fit. But let's finish here. We've talked about the Chelsea news. I'm going to try and keep up to date for the rest of this week, trying to get back to daily videos because there is so much going on with Chelsea. But I want to finish this video today. If you're still here, smack a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. I need to talk about England and Gareth Southgate because what we saw in that game yesterday was an absolute moment of genius from Jude Bellingham. Gareth Southgate waited until the 65th minute to bring Cole Palmer on the field when A, he should have started, B, bringing on Kobe Mino for Conor Gallagher kind of makes sense, I agree with it, to make England a better outfit in the midfield for right now, for the way that we're playing. But tactically, this is the most inept team in the tournament. We don't have any idea what we're doing. We have got the Bundesliga's best player, the Premier League's best players from last season, the two best players, and we've got the best player in La Liga. And we are the worst team to watch in the competition. And if it wasn't for a moment of absolute genius from Jude Bellingham, England would have crashed out to Slovakia yesterday. Great job from Harry Kane to score the header to win the game for us in extra time. But anybody who thinks Gareth Southgate shouldn't be criticised for the way that we almost got humiliated yesterday, I think it's madness to think that Gareth Southgate, just because we make a miraculous recovery, the performances are absolutely diabolical. I think at times yesterday we were better than we have been, but we have not played against a single, what I would consider, good side yet in the tournament. I don't think Denmark were very good. Slovenia were awful. We couldn't beat them. Serbia, I think, were bang average as well. And it's Slovakia, arguably the worst team left in the competition. And we made them look good. Gareth Southgate is making teams look good because he is tactically inept. It was an absolute disaster for 94 minutes yesterday. What a goal from Bellingham, Harry Kane, and I'm thinking now, when you look at England, we're in the quarterfinals, not sure how we've scraped it, and we've managed to luck out and be on the good side of the draw. Austria, if we can get through Switzerland, I think we'll be playing Austria in the semi-finals. They're a really good side. Could be the Netherlands too. They've got a bit more pedigree in the competitions. But if that result alone, and the nature of the Bellingham goal, Harry Kane scoring in extra time too, England now have to just hope that the momentum alone from the comeback is enough to carry us through Switzerland, who look like a really good side. Difficult to break down. Were fantastic against Italy, although the Italians aren't great in this tournament this year. But England have been an absolute shambles. Cole Palmer comes on and he looks like he's always got something extra about him. I think we've got to go with Saka at left back. Cole Palmer's got to start. I find it absolutely mind-blowing that at half-time yesterday, England 1-0 down, Southgate doesn't change it. He got so lucky. And I'm not going to avoid him of any criticism because I think the way that England have played in this tournament is fully on him. We have been awful, but we have made it. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm going to say it's coming home because I still think we're going to win it. I do. I just do. I think that result is going to be enough to spark the boys on, to get that momentum, to carry us through Switzerland, and then hopefully from Switzerland onto the semis and then into the final. Spain look fantastic. Comeback win for them. Germany looks solid. France are playing tonight. Portugal, it's going to be tough. But to get to the final at least, we've got to believe we should do it. We're the best team tactically. Not tactically, sorry, technically, we're the strongest squad left in that side of the draw, minimum. So, Southgate is saved by the brilliance of Jude and Harry Kane. England are into the quarterfinals. Chelsea are signing players from the Championship. Life is good. Look at my roast dinner yesterday. Absolutely unbelievable scram before the football tour. I like being back in England, guys. I do. Let me know your thoughts on Dewsbury-Hall signing in the comments down below. What do you think about Isak? Is there any serious chance that Chelsea can get him when Newcastle are asking for that much money? Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you are new. Come on, you Blues.